Super League on a Friday and a glorious summer's evening here at Headingley for Leeds against Warrington. The new Great Britain coach going up against last year's England coach. But International Rugby League's the last thing on the mind. Two vital Super League points at stake here. Let's take a check on the two teams, and Leeds have got their first choice backline out. It's Brent Webb, Scott Donald, Clinton Tupy, Keith Senior, Lee Smith, Danny Maguire and Rob Burrow. The forwards, Ryan Bailey, Ian Kirk has been named at hooker alongside Jamie Peacock. Jamie Jones-Buchanan, Mr. T, Gareth Ellis, and Kevin Sinfield is the skipper. And on the bench for Leeds, Luluai, Thackeray, Ablett and Tansey, the coach, Tony Smith. Now the Warrington Wolves, Brent Gross at fullback, Riley, Farfili, Johnson and Penny. John Clark at 6, there's still no Chris Bridge, and Lee Breers is the captain. The forwards, Paul Wood, Mark Gleeson, Adrian Morley in the front row today on his return to Headingley. Mike Wainwright, Ben Westwood and Rob Parker. And on the bench, it's Paul Rauhihi, Michael Sullivan, both coming back after injury, and youngsters Stephen Pickersgill and Andy Braycheck. Coach Paul Cullen. Well, they slipped to 10th in the table after the 40 points to 12 home defeat by the champions on Monday. But encouragingly for Warrington, they led at 12-6 at half-time. Only a 4-day turnaround for them. They hope to improve their current record of just 2 wins from the last 9 in Super League. The 2 wins, both coming against bottom of the table Salford City Reds. Leeds will stay joint top of the table, at least if they win here. St Helens in action also against Salford at Knowsley Road. And for the first time in 10 years, Leeds have got no interest in the Challenge Cup at the quarter-final stage. So they will be that much hungrier for grand final glory this year at Old Trafford. They won 18 points to 10 at Hull Kingston Rovers last Sunday. They'd lost their previous 2 at Hull and in the Cup here against Wigan. It wasn't the prettiest of wins at Hull Kingston Rovers, but coach Tony Smith will be pleased that his men can win ugly. And Ben Thaler is tonight's big match referee. Glorious night, Steve-o, for this.
Unbelievable setting, isn't it? Sun just dipping away there to our left. And it's going to be a big ask from this Warrington side, but they have done it before. They can dig deep. Will the players do it for Paul Cullen? That is the thing that's buzzing around the Wolves fans. They really have to be spot on for the full 80. They did it for 40 against Saints last week. Can they do it again here? Leeds, of course, Eddie has already mentioned the fact that they dug deep against a Hull Kingston Rovers side that worked for the full 80 minutes. It'll be an interesting contest. I feel that the youngsters, Chris Riley and Kevin Penny, will get plenty of action.
John Clark traps the ball, and it just allows Leeds a little bit more time to chase the kick-off down, and that's Paul Wood who takes the first tackle of the match. And Kevin Penny, first touch and a full Super League debut for him. And rigorous defence from Leeds very early in the piece here. Not much progress made forward there. Now it's with Lee Breers, and he spins it wide and finds Ben Westwood. Tackle number 3, Warrington still inside their own 20-metre zone. That's Brent Gross. Here is Adrian Morley back at Headingley, where it all began for him all those years ago. Mark Gleeson, no Martin Gleeson in the side today. Wainwright is trapped. That's tackle number 5, only about 20-30 metres gain forward maybe. And it is here with John Clark, and it's a hoof downfield into the sunshine. Tester for Brent Webb, but the Leeds fullback comes up with it. Good chase by Warrington.
Pretty good pressure as well by Leeds there. You can see Lee Breers that took first receiver, tried to get the kick away. He had to shift it out to his standoff, John Clark. It wasn't the best kick. Tried to utilise the sun, but it was far too deep, right down the throat of Brent Webb. It's the defence that's going to be the problem, though, for Warrington, I feel. That second half against St Helens, they just seem to just drop off the would-be ball carrier. They can't afford to do that against the Rhinos.
This is Kevin Sinfield operating from dummy half, named at loose forward with Ian Kirk at hooker, but I think everyone believed that it would be Sinfield operating at the dummy half. Not now, though. He was tackled there. That was Burrow. He gave it away to Maguire. Oh, and Tupy nearly got the ball away on the last tackle. It's the turnover for Warrington. It was an important tackle by Rob Parker.
It was an essential tackle by Parker. It was important that they couldn't go behind on the scoreboard so early. And although Leeds elected to run the ball, Parker had enough energy to get there and bring down Tufi. Brilliant play there by the Warrington side. They're going to need several big efforts in defence.
Here is Lee Breers. He flips the ball over the top to Chris Riley. There's a bit of space ahead for Riley, but it's quickly closed down by Scott Donald. He's no slouch as Riley, and neither is Donald. This is Breers. Warrington looking busy here, but the ball on the bounce gets to Rob Parker eventually. Just lost a little bit of momentum then with a long pass from Breers. Parker will play the ball here to Mark Gleeson. Now it's with Breers once more. This is Brent Gross.
The most important fact is that Warrington are well over the halfway line. That means they can put in a positive kick.
They might put in something more than that. Trying to keep the ball alive. Westwood finds Farfili. Riley's on his outside. Farfili taking them on. Farfili will go in for Warrington. A great start for Warrington and Henry Farfili. Referee Ben Thaler points to the spot, and Henry Farfili, who scored the try in the first half that established Warrington's lead again at 12-6 up to half-time on Monday, comes up with his 12th try of the season and gives Warrington Wolves a perfect start.
And it all came about by great work deep from within their own quarter. They kept the ball alive, but they got themselves into a good position. Not the best. Coming out of the defensive line was Danny Maguire. Farfili couldn't believe it. Playing centre today, it just evaporated. There you saw Maguire out of the equation. Farfili says, hang on, there's nobody here. Can't believe it. Keith Senior just drifted across. He wanted the winger. Farfili said, I've got an open run. And they're stunned here at Headingley. They did not expect that, and full credit to the Warrington side for testing their arm deep within their own half.
Henry Farfili was 27 years of age on Wednesday, the former New Zealand international. 63 tries now, and this is his 86th game for Warrington. Great strike record. Breers has that angle to try and add the extra two and give Warrington a dream start here at Headingley. Breers with the sun on his back. Just scuffed the boot a bit, missed it. But it's Leeds 0, Warrington 4. The start, John Sharp, that not too many people would have predicted.
Yeah, Warrington's made a statement, haven't they? Obviously they've been promoting the ball and been very aggressive with it. We see Danny Maguire, ball on the deck, a loose ball, and the reaction of the Warrington players is fantastic. There's plenty of cover there from Leeds, there's plenty of enthusiasm, but Farfili's footwork's great.
Yeah, it was a great finish, I must say, and I'm sure that Tony Smith get the message out to Danny Maguire. Come on, you've got to get in a straight line. Don't go off on a hunt for an intercept.
You know, it's a perfect start here for Warrington. When you're down on confidence, and if you're playing away from home as Warrington are, it's vital that you get the first score. You start the game well. It's hard to come from behind when you're facing the bottom of the table and teams are looking down on you. And they've scored the first try. They've now received a penalty here. Interference by Leeds in the play of the ball. And confidence starts to build. We saw this, Eddie, last week at the Willows. Salford scored the first points against Huddersfield, and all of a sudden the players found some energy.
Indeed so. Back-to-back home defeats against Harlequins and St Helens. Not the sort of response Paul Cullen would have wanted following the big win against Salford in Cardiff.
The one thing that did surprise me, Eddie, is the fact that, remember when Leeds had the chance and they took the power play. They normally go for the kick on the last. They didn't. They tried to get it out wide, maybe a little bit too overconfident.
Good run from Mark Gleeson, that was. That was John Clark. Here is Breers again. Delayed the pass. Finds Brent Gross. And Gross tries to get away from Senior and Maguire, but can't do so. Henry Farfili at dummy half, directing operations, pointing the finger, shouting the instructions. This is Mark Gleeson. Here is Michael Wainwright. Now it's with Ben Westwood. Ball is lost, but it went backwards. Oh, and the referee wipes the tackle count down.
Well, little doubt that the Wolves have just pitted out one area, and that is that Keith Senior and Danny Maguire on their left-hand side in defence. Obviously, Paul Cullen feels that there is a weakness there.
This is Breers. He just accelerates, stops, finds Wainwright. Wainwright with Sinfield all over him.
Where was the second phase? Breers, two beautiful dummies, but no one came on the second attack.
Here now is John Clark, flicks the short ball. This is Paul Johnson. Johnson is held up by Bailey. And also Gareth Ellis. It's with Breers again. A dab kick to the in-goal area. Hacked forward, ball all over the shop, and another touchdown. No, it's a knock-on, said the referee. Leeds head and feed. And Jamie Peacock, he's saying, knocked the ball back towards his own line.
Well, he's put under a lot of pressure. Was all over the joint. Had the opportunity there. Try time begging. Went back. As soon as it just dribbled back, they got a boot to it. Had the opportunity.
It's Mark Gleeson, isn't it? I think who knocked on there for Warrington.
If he'd have picked that up cleanly, that would have been another try for the Warrington Wolves. As it is, it stays at 4-0. 7 minutes gone, and there's a deathly hush over Headingley at the moment, because it's Warrington who are taking the game to the Leeds Rhinos, the joint leaders of the competition. Such is the fascination of Super League 12.
Certainly is, and the confidence. We knew that they had to come and start with it, but the inference was that they might just fall apart. But over the first 7 minutes, they've been bossing this game, and they've been running the angles. They're working very hard, and also they've been using dummy runners. They haven't been doing that for a while, Warrington.
Yeah, it's very typical of the week before when they played St Helens. I thought they opened the game extremely well and played plenty of nice football, and it's a great kick. Just saying about how Warrington have started the game, the full of enthusiasm. The opening 8-10 minutes have been pretty good, but there's another 70 minutes to go.
Well, in terms of distance, it was a 40-20, but it was outside the 40-metre mark, so it is head and feet at the scrum here to the Warrington Wolves.
They won't mind that, the Rhinos. At least they've got themselves into a good attacking position. Try to force the error. But they'll also be running through their minds is the fact that Warrington, remember, with created Farfeli's first try, was that they were very open-minded in keeping the ball alive within their own quarter.
And I think that's what surprised Leeds, really. And if you listen to Paul's comments earlier on in the piece, he spoke openly about not having a defensive mindset coming into this game and being brave, and they've certainly challenged Leeds around the ropes.
Warrington believe they've had a bad call against them here.
I agree.
The scrum.
When we offload the ball backwards, there's no knock on there. The referee's onside, and he's made a guess, but it's the wrong one from a Wolves perspective.
Well, spot on, Phil. You could see deliberately the flick from Wainwright going backwards.
Well, this is Clinton Tupy, and Johnson gets to him with help from Brent Gross. That is Webb, that was Maguire, and this is Ian Kirk, and a big hit by Adrian Morley. Kevin Sinfield waits the dummy half, and he goes down the short side with Ryan Bailey. Bailey keeps the legs pumping, can't do anything without the legs. That's what John Clark thought. Lifted one, down he went. And here is little Rob Burrow, and he finds Danny Maguire, and he's got Brent Webb, and the long pass wide, and Donald cannot take the pass in. And is it going to be one of those nights for the Rhinos?
It could very well be, but you've got to point the finger at Donald. Scott Donald had overrun that. You've got to assess where the ball's coming across the three-quarter line, and he didn't. We see it so often by wingers. They try to just stretch, just cheat another half a metre, and then they've got to look back for the ball.
Is the responsibility on the centre, though, to put the ball where the winger is? Do you say to your wingers, you've got to be in the right spot to take the ball, and then it's our duty to get you the ball?
Yeah, that's right, Phil. You rely on your strike players to hit into the hole, and the ball player, the person passing the ball, to find you. And obviously there's a fair amount of pressure in that last quarter, and ultimately they came up with the error, looking at playing around them instead of through them.
Wainwright plays it to Johnson now. It was Mark Gleeson at dummy half in that movement, and here he is again, and he finds Paul Wood, and Wood will get them to almost the 40-metre line on the Tri-Nations tour last year. Paul Wood didn't make the test team though. Good hands, and here is Kevin Penny trying to cut inside, scythed down by Gareth Ellis's tackle. Last tackle for Warrington. They look for Lee Breers inevitably, and his kick over the top and behind Scott Donald is a good one, and the chase now is important, and Farfeli arrives.
That's all you need to do, make sure that you go over the defenders. Not let him take it on the full. And it was a really good kick from Lee Breers. Chase is very good, very enthusiastic yet again.
Saints 4-0 up against the Salford City Reds at Knowsley Road. Here, Warrington 4-0 up against the Leeds Rhinos.
I get
11 and a half gone.
I get the impression, Eddie, that Leeds, they think they don't have to do any hard work. They've been trying to get this ball out wide on every occasion, but there are times when you've got to dig deep, roll the sleeve up and start getting the forwards, get that momentum down the middle.
That's Kevin Sinfield with a scampering run. Good tackling though by Parker and Wood, and the kick from Maguire is straight down the throat of Brent Gross, and he gives it then to Chris Riley, who will run the ball back on an arc. Good defence from Jamie Jones-Buchanan and Rob Burrow. Play the ball by Riley to Breers. He finds Westwood.
Smart thinking there. Warrington wanting to get on with it. Playing the ball very quickly.
Mark Gleeson, Henry Farfili again, trying to go round Maguire, gets the ball away. Oh, Westwood, just the knock on at the wrong time.
There was a gap there as well. Leeds' defence was all at sea. You can see quite clearly that Jamie Peacock was very slow to fill in the gap. He's very fortunate. Westwood would have scampered through, I feel. Well, they're running them ragged, but they're turning in the tackle. Paul Cullen must be very happy. He feels perhaps that he should have been more than 4 points in front.
And the referee shouting and shouting at all the players in the scrum to stay because the ball had not come out on the lead side. Warrington broke too early, that's why the penalty is given. Has to clear the scrum before they can move, and they'd all gone. Look,
it's a stupid, it's a stupid rule, that.
Here is Jamie Jones-Buchanan. There's no point having the ball amongst the forwards of the attacking side with all the defence spread all over the shop, Steve-O.
Yeah, but it just stops the game, stops and starts, and I blame the coaches for doing that. They deliberately hold it. The ball is thrown into the loose forward's feet. Come on.
But they do it to get a penalty, probably. Here is Sinfield. He offloads it. Untidily, it's picked up by Jamie Peacock. And Peacock gets Leeds to within 9 metres of the Warrington line. Sinfield will go right and find Maguire. He pops it back up to Ian Kirk. Kirk was looking for a second phase. Nothing coming. Sinfield is there again. There's Ryan Bailey. Big hit on him. That was a very good tackle by Wainwright. This is the last tackle here. Last tackle. Sinfield. Oh, knock on! Knock on by Brent Gross behind his own line. And the pressure is starting to tell. It's going to be a goal line dropout.
Good work by Kevin Sinfield. Just dabs it through. He really should have taken that. There was no under pressure on the fullback, Brent Gross. Not the best with the fingertips, I'm afraid. Control, this fella.
Come on, John Sharp. Fight your corner for the coaches. Do you tell them to keep the ball in the scrums?
Oh, I try not to get involved with Steve on arguing about the game. I agree with everything he says, but no, seriously, off the back of it, Warrington are under pressure. I think this is a real test of the defensive line.
Indeed so. Lee Smith angry with the attention he was receiving then. Little dummy from Tupi.
Should have been second phase. Tupi knows it.
Here is Jamie Peacock, offloads to Tupi. He gives it to Rob Burrow. Here they come down this left channel with Brent Webb. Good tackling by Ben Westwood. Rob Burrow waits the dummy half. Down to Maguire. Maguire then to Senior. And Senior is over for the leveller. Keith Senior with a try for the Leeds Rhinos. Warrington's lead lasted about 12 minutes or so. And Keith Senior comes up with the try. He got a try against Bradford in Cardiff, none since, and he got his 200th career try against Warrington in April. That's the 14th try scored against Warrington in the past 7 years.
You apply the pressure. It was the second set of 6. It was Sinfield's kick that got them to it. And for the first time, the Warrington defence has been breached. It's been pretty solid up to this point, but when you give a short little pass to it, a man as big as Keith Senior in the centres, it's very hard to stop his progress. They fought back. They got a lucky little twist of the official, Ben Thaler, who said that it was a knock-on, remember, from Mike Wainwright, when it was quite obvious that it had gone backwards, but that, sometimes the rub of the green can go against you, and it has resulted in Senior picking up a try, to much relief, I would say, for the Leeds coach, Tony Smith.
Well, you see the kicking style of Kevin Sinfield. He doesn't take the ball back too far. He prefers the shorter distance, the narrower angle, and it's come up for him there, the Leeds skipper. And Kevin Sinfield's boot means that it's Leeds now who are ahead by 6 points to 4.
Simple process. There you see Farfeli being sucked into Maguire. Sometimes this game can be so simple, but effective. Suck the player in defence, show the man the gap, and this man will finish off Keith Senior. Good play.
Senior's try and Sinfield's goal. Kevin Sinfield now has played and scored in every game this year. Here comes Jamie Peacock, the incumbent Great Britain captain. His club coach, Tony Smith, says he's maybe looking at playing some of the young stars who are in form in the Super League rather than the established stars for the French test. And that's a penalty to the Leeds Rhinos. Mark Gleeson walking away. It was Ben Westwood, I think he was penalised because he just would not let Bailey get to his feet.
He'd no option, the
Both
official.
of them, actually.
No option whatsoever, but the way that he danced through, looks as though there's a problem for Ben Westwood. He picked up a knock on that knee.
This is Ian Kirk.
Those are good meters, Eddie, after the collision. 2 or 3 meters, you know your team's heading in the right direction. When there's good leg drive and you're pushing forward, it means you'll play the ball quicker on the next one.
Well, it took them 15 minutes, Phil, to realise, did the Rhinos, that they had to do some hard work in the forwards, and that's the reason why they sucked in the defence and got it out wide for Senior to score.
Little drop of the shoulder by Maguire. He's pulled down by Westwood. There's Jamie Jones-Buchanan. Here is Brent Webb, and that is Scott Donald, and that's another one into the stand almost. That was a bit high, to be fair. Well, they were both high. He overran the first pass wide. That was far too high for him.
Oh, I'd no chance with that. And he knows it. Just a bit of a rude smile and say, hey, come on. I may have overrun the first one. Warrington will be rushing to get this underway. Now I wonder if Warrington and the coach Paul Cullen will trap the ball and the loose forward and see if they can get the penalty. Yes, it appears that way, doesn't it?
But they did not break before the referee called out. The ball was out.
I like that, I really do. Gives the two backs a chance to turn an attack from the scrum. I think pushing in scrums will come back into fashion in the next 2 to 3 years, Eddie. Even if it's only a means of tiring your opposition, saying we've got more stamina and energy than you, and we're going to sap you when it gets to a scrum. I do think it'll come back.
Hang on, Phil, we'll be talking about the hookers striking for the football next.
Well, particularly if the players do hold the ball at the back of the scrum, there will be pushing. There's no doubt about that. Brilliant. Little half break. He gets it to Westwood. Westwood smuggles it forward. Sadly to Farfeli, it's just drifted forward. He disputes the call, Ben Westwood.
I think you'll find that when you see the replay, it goes forward about a metre. Sheer frustration there. It was good play by Libriers. Leeds found it difficult to put down the halfback, and Westwood sadly couldn't get it away quickly. Scrambled back well, did the Leeds defence. Had to.
Libriers went to feed the scrum then. I don't think he really, well, I'm sure he didn't expect the referee not to remember. Surprise score at Nosey Road. Slightly weakened team, we are told, for St Helens.
Keep coming!
And Salford ahead 6-4. That might put the cat amongst the pigeons if Salford win at Nosey Road.
Well, I bet the message has got through to Paul Cullen, the Warrington coach.
Go.
Bailey was injured in that tackle. He's gone down, clutching the hamstring.
Come on! Hold it.
Kevin Sinfield waits again as the ball is played to him by Jamie Peacock. Here is Burrow. Back on the inside goes Jamie Jones-Buchanan. Important tackle by Westwood. Westwood's in the ruck. It's the last tackle here. And Maguire is through. And Webb is there. And Webb scores next to the posts. And Leeds increase their advantage. Westwood in trouble in the back play. Surely not another serious injury for Warrington and Paul Cullen, but Brent Webb, who's played 15 for Leeds prior to tonight, and he averages a try a match, and he's up to the average tonight.
You can see Westwood there, out of the play. Warrington down to 12. Not the best attempt by Henry Farfili. He may be a good finisher out on the wing there, but I'm afraid Farfili's defence is a little bit suspect, as you can see there. Maguire, great inside ball. Doesn't he read the game well, this New Zealander? Brent Webb, the full-back. Soon as Maguire made that half break, the Leeds full-back, number 1, he said, I'll be there back on the inside. That is a classical try, and quick thinking, quick play the ball while Westwood was down. Can he make it 6?
Yes, he can. Doesn't miss those, Kevin Sinfield. He is second on the goal charts behind Paul Deacon of the Bradford Bulls. And Leeds are second on the table behind St Helens. But at the moment, Saints losing at Nosey Road to bottom of the table. Salford here at Headingley in this sunshine. Brent Webb's try and Sinfield's goal has just put Leeds into a 12 points to 4 advantage. And Ben Westwood off the field for Warrington, injured. He has been replaced here. Michael Sullivan is on.
Isn't it amazing?
So to Andy Braycheck.
Isn't it amazing, Eddie, with the fact that you've got Westwood, who had an opportunity to get the ball out wide. Maybe Warrington could have scored a try themselves, and then he gets an injury and allows Leeds to take control. And at 12-4, it's certainly looking that way.
Just 2 wins from 13 attempts in the weekly rounds here for Warrington since 1996 and Super League began.
Yeah, in coaching there's a fine balance in the game plan, in the plan that you go into the game with, in particular now on your attitude. And I've really liked some of the things Warrington have tried to do, particularly early in the game, and that's to be attack-minded and go for the throat at least. They understand that they're going to have to score some points this evening. There's a fine line between playing and overplaying and creating problems for yourself, and looking at turning the ball over on early plays when you're in yardage, I think just piles pressure on you defensively and ultimately robs you of energy. And I think the key for me is they need to get back to a little bit of completion and just building a little bit of pressure and kicking out some sets. I think Leeds at the moment look really fresh off the back of some errors by Warrington.
Saints back in front, 10-6. While John was talking, you saw the injury that Ben Westwood suffered. That's good defence again from Gareth Ellis. He's been outstanding this year for the Leeds Rhinos. He was their Player of the Year in 2006. Well, all of these players here are trying to impress the Rhinos coach, the new Great Britain Supremo, Tony Smith. He's watching in the stand, of course, tonight, and the frontline test will be played here on the 22nd of June. If you need any information about the test, there's the phone number, Great Britain France, 0844 477 7113. Lines will be open on Monday morning.
Well, we saw the build-up there from Warrington, and their Leeds defence, they are pinpointing Lee Breers, but there are 2 men going for him nearly all the time, and if that's the case, then Warrington needs someone to just come on that second phase, just come off a neat pass, because there's a huge gap being left there on the Leeds defence.
Here is Scott Donald taking on Riley, who went a bit high on him. And he gave him almost a rabbit punch, did Chris Riley. This is Keith Senior. Solid defence from Warrington against one of the roughest and toughest centres in the business. Keith Senior plays the ball to Burrow, and here is Lee Smith. Warrington sticking to the task, trailing on the scoreboard.
He makes his mark, doesn't he, Adrian Morley? Picks out the man and just launches at him.
Burrow with a short ball to Keith Senior. Did well to hang on to that, it was round his throat. And there is Jamie Thackeray. Here he offloads easily to Webb, who finds Sinfield, who finds Maguire rather, who finds Peacock, who finds Ellis. And Warrington trying to halt the tide. That's the last tackle. 10 metres inside the Warrington half. Up it goes from Danny Maguire's boot. And Riley collects it. Something that Warrington did not do on Monday was diffuse the high kicks downfield.
Good take by the youngster. It was fully expected that both Chris Riley, Kevin Penny would be put under a lot of pressure. He took it well.
He surrendered.
Chris Riley has missed the last 5. He's only 19 years of age. He was a sub in the heavy defeat against Leeds in April. That was at Warrington's own ground. This is John Clark with a kick down the line for Kevin Penny to chase. And Penny magnificently, if he's onside, this kid has got speed to burn.
Just check when he's coming through.
What a first appearance of 2007 He thinks he scored. The thing is, the question, did he come from an onside position?
Yes, he did. Look at that, kicking on the third tackle, and that means that there is just no one at home. No fullback, no winger. Penny gets the boot to it. As Eddie has mentioned, he has got speed to burn. Does he get the grounding right? Kept his cool, comes off his knee. No knock on as far as I'm concerned. That's what the video referee, Ian Smith, will have a look at.
Just watch this left hand, Steve. Watch the left hand here.
I don't think he touches it. He doesn't touch it. I think it's TIY, and fully deserved. What a magnificent kick. It takes a lot of confidence, you know, when you're down, to go on the third tackle.
Ian Smith's decision, I think, looks like it might be in the affirmative for the Warrington Wolves. He's checked everything. He's checked the grounding. He's checked the no knock on. He's checked the onside, and the try is given. Kevin Penny, full debut, England Academy International against the Australian combined high schools last year. His first full appearance and his first try in Super League, and one that he can be really, really proud of. Warrington are back in it.
And with a tremendous effort as well. Go on that short blind side. John Clark, third play the ball. No one at home. Mr. Penny is. What an effort. He just burnt the grass on that left-hand side. Isn't it great to see the youngsters, Eddie, come to the fore?
He misses another Lee Briers from way out on the far touchline, but Warrington back within a score, 12-8.
It was an absolutely superb kick by John Clark. Just the distance on it, the accuracy, it gave his winger the opportunity, and he had the enthusiasm to convert it into those points. You know, both sides had just worked the ball away from their own line in the 2 or 3 minutes building up to that. But Warrington's bravery to go for that play, as Steve-O points out, when you're behind on the scoreboard and confidence is low, that's a high-risk play, one that's paid off.
It's a high-risk play, but when you've got the speed that Kevin Penny appears to have, it's something I think that Warrington will try and utilise.
Well, yeah, but you've also got to diffuse that by the fact, you know, they wouldn't have much experience out there. And there's a lot of people going around the trap saying perhaps that Paul Cullen has lost the edge, can't coach. Well, what we've seen in the first 27 minutes, he's produced some magnificent moves already.
Warrington in possession, that was Michael Sullivan, gives it to Briers, he goes for the 40-20, Lee Briers. Oh, and it sails out on the full. Has to bounce in the field of play, obviously, to qualify for a 40-20. Didn't get the length anyway.
There's not much breeze around, so it has to be put down as a bad kick. But he's buzzing again. Remember, the first 40 against St. Helens last Monday. He was in full charge.
Here we go, head in.
Well, there's a real scrap going on at Knowsley Road, 10 apiece. Wonder if Sean McRae, the favourite for the coaching post at Salford, I wonder if he's gone along there tonight. Kevin Sinfield finds Jamie Jones-Buchanan. Sinfield's the dummy half. He plays the ball to Maguire, and here is Rob Burrow, and Burrow finds Jamie Peacock. And Peacock is grounded 20 metres from the Warrington line. It's Maguire now. Maguire, a couple of dummies, finds Jamie Jones-Buchanan. Jamie Jones, oh, brilliant ball to Senior. Roasters round the net. He has touched this ball down.
Right. I just want you to look, just be quiet. Right, I just want you to have a look to see.
What skills though from the big second rower, Jamie Jones-Buchanan.
Deliberately kicks the ball out of his hand.
He dummied the kick. He dummied. He dummied again. He dummied the kick.
Check. If Briers deliberately kicks the ball out of his hands with 2 in.
It was like the egg and
Asking the video
spoon.
referee to check whether Lee Briers kicks the ball out of his hands.
Ooh, did he try to?
But I don't think he did. I think if you see it from the other angle, I think Senior gets this down.
Well, I don't think the ball ricochets away from him, so he misses. Oh, he doesn't. Now then, does he? Has he dislodged the ball?
Remember what I've said, Paul, about a penalty try.
He's going to give a penalty try here, Steve-O.
Well,
that's not allowed, is it? You can't kick the ball out of the hands, can you?
No.
Well, there's two people in the tackle. You can't strip the ball from your opponent when there are two people in the tackle.
It's got to be a penalty try, you're right. It's a big call, though. We don't see many.
Well, I tell you what, if it is a penalty try, Ben Thaler has come up with a quick piece of thinking here. Watch the decision of Ian Smith. Penalty try. It is. And so Keith Senior gets his second try, and it's underneath the sticks now. Penalty try is brought in underneath the posts, and Ben Thaler wants a word with the Warrington skipper. I wonder what Mr. Thaler's version of events is going to be.
Come here, come here. Don't be doing that again.
Well, they've given him a caution.
He's just had a caution on the run, you're right.
Well, sheer frustration by the Warrington captain. But let's take nothing away from the ability of the big second row. Look at this. I'm going to kick, I'm going to dummy, I'm going to hold it, I'm going to bring him back on the inside. Perfectly read. Not so sure that Brent Gross come up with a legal tackle either. But this is superb. Bang. Caught him on the shoulder. Breers makes contact. But it has to be a penalty try.
Good job he got the ball and not Keith Senior's bombs. And he was on warning not to do it again. And actually, the Brent Gross tackle, and I put the word tackle in inverted commas, might be worth having a look at as well. It was a shocker.
It certainly was. He went high, but I think that he made the impact just on the shoulders, which was sufficient. But he's a big man. You talk about pretty lucky that Breers didn't hit him on the head. What about if it had made contact with the hand? I mean, a swinging boot like that would have smashed the fingers and the bones would have been crumpled. But this man with the beard, that was exceptional skill. That will help his cause as to the Great Britain coach, his own coach at Leeds, of course, Tony Smith.
That was Thackeray on the charge, and he hits the deck. Keith Senior, by the way, with that penalty try that goes against his name. He's now on the verge of a hat-trick against Warrington on this ground for the third year in a row. Keith Senior. And he's now on to 6 for the season. And Sinfield gone for the 40-20. Sinfield for the 40, the ball stands up. Oh! Brent Gross takes control of the situation. Warrington's hearts must be in their mouth when the ball hits the deck after Monday. Off from a kick downfield from the opposition.
Well, on 4 or 5 occasions against St. Helens, they allowed the ball to bounce, and you can't afford to do that, and they got away with it on that occasion. Just a little bit of a mix-up there. Obviously, Brent Gross said it's mine. That's backwards. That'll be play on.
Eddie, less than 10 to go to half-time. Clearly still in the game, just 10 points behind. But it's important that they don't lose their compass. They don't lose the direction of where they're trying to head in this half here now. And keep in touch. They obviously need to complete some sets, continue to move the ball around when there's a chance, but keep a control of their game when they have possession.
That should have been a penalty.
It should have been. Tupi was pulling back the jersey of Paul Rahihi.
Before he had the football there.
Indeed so. Here is Lee Breers now. Up it goes high, but it's sliced. It's actually almost gone backwards. Warrington overrun it. Picked up though by Brejcek. What a pass! Oh, Farfili off the knees, it goes backwards.
That's play on. Could be a try here.
Oh, could be problems for Warrington. They're a bit disjointed in defence. This is Webb. Gives it then to Gareth Ellis. There's a huge hole. He's through Rob Parker first time. Parker sticks to him. Great counter from Leeds. Here is Burrow.
Leeds can't afford to get excited here. At 18-8, they're commanding the game. Just push into the attacking quarter and look for the second set of 6.
Salford have hit the front against St Helens again. 5 to go in that match in the first half. This is Tupi. Stuttering run from Tupi. 4 tackles, 2 still in the bag. Jamie Thackeray. Thackeray will attack the line. Gets the ball away. It's loose, picked up by Peacock.
Warrington have done well there, Eddie, because they had 2 men down injured, and they have just stumbled back into that defensive line. They're out on the feet of the Wolves at the moment.
Here's Rob Burrow, dabs the ball, he was looking for the post then. He was looking for the padding around the post, Rob Burrow then, no question.
Well, you'd have to put that down as a little bit of panic play. All it needed to do was a little dribble through and then get the return set of 6.
Chris Riley was then dropped to the ground by a ferocious challenge. Here is Michael Sullivan again. Down to Ben. News on Ben Westwood. Down to Bill.
Bill on Ben, this is.
Bill or Ben.
Ben Westwood ready to come back. He's shaking off the after effect. If he's back out there, he came off the field looking very groggy indeed, and spent a bit of time on the sidelines just shaking it off. He's back out there now.
Here's Brent Gross. Thank you, the flower pot men on the sideline. We've got Lee Breers to John Clark to go wide. This is Johnson. Johnson gets it back to Clark. Ball's all over the place. Rob Burrow does well, and it was not a knock-on.
Great play by the little halfback, Rob Burrow. Talk about the second effort. Couldn't get it on the first attempt. Certainly had enough enthusiasm to make sure he scrambled back for it. Opportunity, though, by Warrington. They were disappointed on it. At least they're starting to split this Leeds defence. They're finding a few gaps at the moment.
Yeah, I'm really encouraged by their attitude and also how they're playing. They're really threatening with the ball and being ever so brave. A bit of composure on late last plays, I think, just to build a little bit of pressure on Leeds and make them come off their own line. I think it's key now for me. But Cullen should certainly be impressed and encouraged by his attitude of his players, and certainly some skill in there as well.
Yes, there is. And Maguire goes down. I'm looking in centre field because Gareth Ellis is injured. But here goes Scott Donald. Scott Donald has got a ton of support. It's Maguire. And Maguire for Leeds Rhinos. Just at the wrong time, just before half-time. That's his 120th try for Leeds. And before that one, 8 of the previous 119 have been scored against Warrington. Danny Maguire with the latest try, a try last week against Hull Kingston Rovers as well. That was his first in 4 matches. They've come along in pairs.
Again, smart work by Jamie Jones-Buchanan that switched it through. You could see that Kevin Penny had gone right out. He was nowhere to be seen, and soon as Donald make that clean break, the man who's always in support. You see there Kevin Penny in no man's land. He was left on, Riley was left with 2-on-1. This guy just soaks up the pressure, doesn't he? If there's a half break, you'll guarantee that the number 6, Danny Maguire, will sniff out the try. In his support play, he reminds me so much of the great Sean Edwards. He reads the game so well.
See the way Sinfield just takes the ball back a very short distance and clips the ball over the top of the crossbar with ease. An 8-degree angle. It's a difficult angle, but it's not got much distance on it. Actually, Barry McDermott and Terry pointed that out to me last night.
You know, a lot of the Leeds players, Kevin Sinfield included, are actually very intelligent ones. They study just up at the road. Carnegie, here's the try here now. Great last tackle play.
There you see, Riley has gone into no man's land, and it was always soon as a pass was sent out to Donald, who had the pace, calm, cool and collected. His name is Maguire, the Squire of Leeds, and boy, that was a great finish.
24 years of age, he's played 9 times for Great Britain. Wondered whether he will hit double figures against the French on this ground in 3 weeks' time. Bill has some injury news.
Bit of a problem for the Rhinos in the build-up to that try. Gareth Ellis got a hefty bang in the ribs and was down on his knees for some time, needed treatment on the field, said he was okay to continue. The physio thought otherwise, and so Jordan Tansey has come on. Ellis on the sidelines, that rib injury iced up.
That's Michael Sullivan. This is Paul Johnson. Warrington in this position because Kylie Luluai was hammered in a tackle and lost possession of the ball. 8 metres short of the line, going down the short side. This is Brent Gross. Great tackle. Rob Burrow, doesn't he tackle his weight? Sullivan. Back to John Clark. Here is Lee Breers. Warrington looking for something just before half-time. Farfili! It's a carbon copy of the game against Saints on Monday. Kick to the corner for Henry Farfili, and Farfili was on the end of it for his 2nd try of the night.
They will not lie down, will they, the Wolves? Great kick from Breers. It silenced this big crowd here. And full credit to the Wolves. Look how deep their three-quarter line was standing back, straight in the arms of the big fella. Well, he certainly made up for the fact that's where Luluai dropped to the ball, and they took full advantage of it. He could see it. That's great vision. Wonderful stuff. They will not lie down. They've been going through a bad patch of the Wolves, but they're starting to growl now a little.
4 tries to 3. Leeds advantage, but Warrington, in the shape of this fella, can't kick a conversion yet.
It is a pity. You know, that kick, if it had been a goal shot, it was a hole-in-one because it went exactly where Farfihi needed it to make it so easy to convert to the try. Here's the angle now for Lee Briers. Can he improve? We've seen his short-kicking game. What's the goal-kicking like?
Lee Briers, 24-12 at the moment. This time he drifts it correctly over the top of the bar. Thumbs up from Briers. 24-14. As Steve-O says, they will not lie down, will they?
Oh, it's a tremendous play. And you can see, look, Briers takes the ball nearly on the 20-metre line, and they were playing the ball 3 metres away from the goal line.
Okay.
And that sucked in the Leeds defence out, left the gap, left the hole. Farfihi did the rest.
Okay.
Sinfield's restart. There's the half-time siren. Michael Sullivan would just take the tackle, and that will do for the first half. Entertaining enough. And Warrington score right on the stroke of half-time, but Keith Senior's 2 tries in this first half, and the try from Webb and the one from Maguire established a 24-8 advantage. At half-time, though, Warrington hit back with a Farfihi try in the corner, a carbon copy of the one he scored against Saints on Monday. But it's Leeds who are ahead by 24 points to 14. Sports 1. Super League for a Friday night. Leeds Rhinos ahead 24-14 here at Headingley. As the Salford City Reds lead at the home of the champions at half-time by 22 points to 14. I said that a significant night awaits us, and perhaps it does at top and bottom of the table. We shall see. There's 40 minutes to go, of course, and nothing is over yet.
Well, the big question is, Eddie, going through the thoughts of the Warrington fans, is that they were leading last Monday, remember, against St Helens, and they just fell apart. They cannot afford to do that here. We know the quality, especially the 2 halfbacks, Barrow and Maguire, once they get going. If this Leeds three-quarter line gets on top, they could run up a big score. It's important that the Wolves defend very strongly in the opening 10.
Referee Ben Thaler is just holding up Lee Briers for the kickoff, because the youngsters who've been entertaining the crowd at half-time just making their way off the field. They love to have their moment of glory, the young people, and why shouldn't they? Here's Luluai again for Leeds, start of this second half. Wonder which way it'll go tonight, Phil.
Well, you'd have to suspect it's going to be Leeds' night again here. They seem up for it. The crowd are demanding, really, of a win here tonight. You know, last week in Super League, Salford scored the most spectacular try, and I just thought the air and swagger of Leeds in the first half meant that they want to win that title this week.
Here's Jamie Jones-Buchanan once again. Wonderful piece before the match here with Jamie Jones dressed as Mr. T, and Terry O'Connor and Barry McDermott. If you missed it, I hope you've recorded it on your HD box or your Sky Plus box. It was fantastic. Here he is again, Mr. T to Maguire. Maguire just pops it up to Ablett.
Keep coming. Play ball. Well done.
That's Brent Webb. Just went to go one way and find Thackeray. The kick downfield, not the best, and into the arms of Brent Gross, and he gives it to Chris Riley. Takes the return, gets through Donald's tackle. Senior was there, and Donald is the man who pulls him down as well. Riley, dummy half. Here's Briers. Showed it to Riley again, showed it to another. Went towards the sideline a little riskily, but Jamie Jones-Buchanan pulled him down. And it's Gross once again. Pops it up to Wainwright. And Braychek.
Eddie Warrington's problem isn't playing rugby with the ball. They've moved it around. They've looked as dangerous as any side here in this set and in this game. They make more breaks and busts than most teams in Super League. But I suppose the big question mark hangs over their defence, and they can't afford to concede 20 points in the second half and have any hope of winning.
Here's Farfili. Rushes away from Burrow. Burrow coming back at him like a little gnat.
It's got to be a good kick here. Breers is taking it from first receiver. Will it be high?
No, it's a little
chip
dab over the top. It was very well thought out by Lee Breers, but Brent Webb read the situation perfectly.
Well, Breers went to try to steal that. Good work from Webb. Held on to it. Was one-on-one. Neat chip over. Back on the angle. Watch Breers try to reef it. Couldn't get it. Good work.
And Luluai drives it forward again, halted by Mike Wainwright. There's Jordan Tanzi, and here comes Jamie Thackeray. Away from Rauhihi, gives the ball to Maguire. He finds Ablett, who in turn finds Tupi. Good tackle by Paul Johnson. Last one here for Leeds. They're still inside their own half. Brent Webb, left-footed, into the arms of Westwood. Westwood finds Gross.
Well, that's the second time that we've seen the fullback Brent Webb in a position to take the kick on the last. And really, they've got to sort that out. They've got to get it to either Sinfield or Rob Burrow.
John Clark, Westwood. Couldn't get through those two, and those three in the end. And Luluai and Ablett added their weight. Clark, Wainwright, and Brent Gross. Farfili. No way through. Referee Ben Thaler yells that that's the fourth tackle.
And that's another blow really for Warrington. Sullivan's just had to leave. Mark Gleeson's come back on the field, and a change earlier than they would have liked. Again, a minor injury to Sullivan prevents what Warrington were trying to build in this second half.
Well, he's back after 8 weeks out with ankle ligament damage. It's a decent enough kick from John Clark. But there is Michael Sullivan. His thigh heavily strapped. It was the ankle that was the problem. That's why he's been out for so long. Maybe just a bit of fatigue, maybe.
You'd be surprised after 3.5 minutes in the second half. Just had a 15-minute break.
Well, he was there. He was there in the first half as well, wasn't he?
Well, when he came on off the bench, he certainly added a little bit more spark to it.
It is fatigue, I'm told. My man on the sideline, Bill, has told us it is just a rest.
Apologise.
Don't get. It's not often, Steve, where you can score one against Mr. Clark, is it?
I'm in awe.
Kylie Luluai. Good drive from him, the former Manly man.
You know, at times this season, the Leeds forwards, they've had to really muscle up. And their coach, Tony Smith, he likes to keep the ball alive for most of the game, but I think there are times, especially last week against Hull Kingston Rovers, that they're dug deep. Well, that's a good kick.
Oh, it's a 40-20 this.
He did one last week as well.
Jordan Tanzi, 40-20 head and feet to Leeds.
Came up with a play at Hull Kingston Rovers, and they scored directly from the scrum. Sinfield picked it up and put Tupi over. Look, they know he's got a skill for this, and they found him on the play they wanted.
It was no fluke. He knew exactly what he had to do. The ball was funneled back, made sure that he was well over the line.
Jordan Tanzi, of course, the man who gained notoriety at the Millennium Stadium, just over the 20-metre mark.
Play on! Back to one!
Back to zero in the tackle count, says the referee. This is Maguire. Farfili gets to him. I say gained notoriety, Jordan Tanzi in Cardiff. He didn't get much of the praise, actually, for chasing what looked like a lost cause, did he? All right, he was 5 metres offside.
Well, it does help if you get 5. I wouldn't say 5. You can't really give him much credit when he's cheating.
This is Brent Webb.
Move!
I think it was just youthful enthusiasm, Steve. I don't think he was cheating.
Well, the try was there.
Indeed.
Put it that way.
Burrow, back it comes to Maguire. Wide it goes to Tupi, and Tupi is in Leeds. And from the 40-20, again, Leeds score. And Tupi gets the 4-pointer. And it was Tupi in the game against Hull Kingston Rovers, as Phil said. So lightning really is striking twice tonight. Farfili for Warrington from a Bria's kick in the first half, and Tupi on the end of a Jordan Tanzi 40-20.
Deliberately stands back behind the 40, gets a beautiful bounce, puts it in, and from that good position, you come out of the line, and the winger did exactly that. You either go for the intercept and take the risk, and he did, and Tupi took the 4. Quite a few of the players now just trying to put the ball on their foot and then try to kid the defence and go a little bit nearer. He did, only gained about a metre. It's becoming very popular amongst all the players.
Kevin Sinfield again, he only has 5 degrees in which to thread the ball through. He does it though, doesn't he? He's growing year on year as a goal kicker, Kevin Sinfield. 30 points to 14.
One goes that way, the other one goes the other. You've got to either stay with your man or you go for the football. And I'm afraid the winger did neither.
I think there can be a real danger period now for Warrington, particularly Leeds. Famous for scoring a try and then backing out with another. I think the key for Warrington now is to stay composed and like I said, play down the right end of the field. The last couple of kicks were much better. I thought they tidied the last plays up in particular, but you know what Leeds are like and the skill that they've got in these individuals.
Here's Jordan Tanzi again. He's collared by Paul Rahihi. Don't forget to join us on Sunday this week. Sunday at 6, Sky Sports 2, HD2, Wakefield, Hull Kingston Rovers. Sunday night at 9:30, Tony Ray will review all the weekend's highlights from the Super League on Sky Sports News. That's at 9:30. And don't forget also, Boots and All Online goes online on Monday evenings. And you can get it as a podcast as well later in the week. On Wednesdays.
Hold it, hold! Go.
And don't forget, all the tries on Anytime and details about that on anytime.sky.com. That's the area where you can see the best of Sky Sports programming. And Boots and All Online is part and parcel of that, of course.
Been a feature of the Leeds defence, the first and second markers. They've been extremely quick. Obviously their coach Tony Smith has been working on that department. That was deliberately touched, or was it? Either way, is he going to wipe the tackle count? He has.
Yes, 0 tackle count. Kevin Penny goes down under the challenge from Lee Smith. This is Clark, and here comes Morley.
Impressive at times, this Leeds defence. You know, they move out wide. They come in on an angle, often referred to as the umbrella defence. And it's make sure your opposition goes down the middle.
Was there a knock on there? There's a chance here for Ablett. He's lost it. He's scored it. But I think this will be chalked out.
This way to have a look at, please.
There are a number of things to have a look at here for Ian Smith.
Right. We're slightly obstructed.
Carl Ablett thinks he has scored. It will be his first try of the season. He's back after a knee reconstruction in a close season, Carl Ablett. And he's been a sub in the last 2 as well. Now, has he scored here? Well,
that's okay.
It's come off Kevin Sinfield.
That's a knock on.
Well, was it? Was he playing for the ball? That's what Ian Smith has to decide.
Well,
whether it was a deliberate attempt to pack the ball.
Yeah, he's gone for the football. Gone for the football. You can't say that it was going into the tackle. This will be no try. Goes to the chagrin of Ablett. Definitely touching. You see the change in flight of the football.
People say if they don't look at the ball then he's not playing for it, but I disagree, Steve. I think you can still go for the ball without looking at it.
He's not involved in the tackle. No way. He has gone for that football.
I agree, and just because he's not looking at the ball doesn't exonerate him from the error.
No, it's the same when someone takes the ball up in the air. Same thing.
Well, it's all right, you two deciding. It's Ian Smith who has decided, because they haven't even looked at the the grounding, so no try. Carl Ablett gets it wiped out, and Kevin Sinfield he's just said I didn't even play at it, and he was ready to take the conversion. It's come down.
Trying to kid the referee. It's an amazing thing happened yesterday in that Dewsbury-Whitehaven game. Francis Maloney, who actually took the kick in front of the sticks before the video referee actually deemed whether it was going to be a try or not.
He had to take it again because the try at that point hadn't been awarded, and apparently there's nothing in the rules to say that that was illegal.
But wouldn't that be classed as
ungentlemanly conduct?
Yeah, because it's like having a practice, isn't it?
Well, Francis Maloney would say that he thought that the referee had awarded the try, I'm sure. Good defence.
You play golf and you can't have a practice and say, oh, well, I'll have another go.
Don't you quote golf rules to me.
Yeah. By the way, Warrington just still have a chance. They've produced some pretty good attacking football.
And they're trying again here. That's good stuff. Here's Braycheck. The ball has gone backwards. It's play on. Mark Gleeson has swooped on it. Mark Gleeson for Warrington. Oh, an important ankle tap. Oh, and he gave the ball away to Luluai. The referee said play on. He wasn't tackled, and Gleeson tried to offload anyway.
Still some fight left in the Wolves, though. It's a great play. They're taking at them. 3 scores behind, 3 converted scores. You're still in the game.
They're certainly challenging Leeds, aren't they? And playing very, very bravely, but a little bit of composure. I still think the last plays and just building pressure. I know that there's some scores still on the board, but I believe that by just turning the screw and getting some energy back into the defence, I think is key for them.
I think I'm right in saying by this point on Bank Holiday Monday, the game had gone for Warrington. We're 12.5 minutes or thereabouts into the second half here, and they're still in the contest.
They've got to try to force the error now and make sure that Leeds don't get anywhere near the halfway line on the last, which they haven't. So this means it should be a poor kick, but they're running it.
With Ellis and wide to Donald. Now they'll kick. High, and Gross underneath it, pouches it safely, but he's all on his own, Brent Gross.
Well, it's a good chase because it wasn't an intelligent kick, was it, from Scott Donald?
And it wasn't a great chase from Warrington, to be fair, to try and give Brent Gross a help out there.
Come on, Jamie.
Riley. Halfway through their substitutions, both teams. Wood is grounded by 3. Good harassing again from the ball carrier by Leeds. Mark Gleeson, back to Breers. Here is Ben Westwood. Westwood, strong. 4 it takes to bring him down. John Clark waits. Here is Breers. Long pass, good ball. Braycheck still. Flick out the back door, Riley. That's the last one for Warrington.
Well, you've got to say that Chris Riley and Kevin Penny, okay, they've been inexperienced, but they've really acquitted themselves well. Good take, got to get him in the in-goal area.
He grounded the ball, the referee's spot on. Jordan Tansey, his ball-carrying arm hit the deck then.
And that's just what the Wolves needed. Second set, good work.
There.
That's sufficient.
Down there, man's on him, that's dead.
Great work there by Kevin Penny. Ball carrying arm, it's the deck. Was he moving? I think he had maybe just hold of his toes. Tansey says, well, I thought I'd got away with it. Ooh, he has let him go. They've got away with that.
Well, Warrington won't be complaining. Leeds might be. Here's Rauhihi.
They've actually, though, been one of the worst teams at converting goal line dropouts into tries this year, Warrington. Big challenge here now, and it could be a turning point in the game. Can they miss this? The second try from a goal line dropout in 2007.
This is Mark Gleeson. 20 metres away from the line, Warrington, with John Clark. John Clark back it goes to Gross. Maguire was waiting for him. Good tackle. And And Salford have increased the lead against St Helens. Here is Paul Johnson. Johnson to Gross. Over the top it finds its way to Gleeson. Gleeson flicks it back to Breers. Here is Gross again. Now it's Rahihi. He swats two away. It was Ablett and Tansey. This is Wainwright. Here is Braycheck again. Flicks the pass. Farfili can't get it down. Riley still going. Wonderful attack from Warrington here. It's Breers looking for Westwood. Collected by Tupy, who has to run it out and does.
Diffused it. I thought he diffused it. Did he diffuse in the in-goal area? Perhaps he took it from the field of play. Came from the field of play, yeah.
Eddie, we often talk about attack and the players and the tries, but you have to give Leeds some credit there because the defence on their own line, even when Warrington kept the ball alive, they kept having men running into the right places to fill the holes. Eventually the man on the right spot to take the kick.
Just had his foot on the line. Could have been given either way. You've got to credit this Warrington outfit. They have not thrown the towel in. They still have a glimmer of a chance to win this. That's good pressure.
It is
not a
good
bad
pressure.
kick, actually.
And here is Kevin Penny. Now, Tony Smith, the Leeds coach, the new Great Britain coach, hopes the public will turn out in force at Headingley 3 weeks tonight to give their backing to the national side in the test match against the French. There's the information line number at the Rugby Football League for you, 0844 477 7113. Don't think you'll actually talk to Tony Smith, but you talk to someone about it. You never know, he might be doing a day at the
I don't think that's part of it.
You never know.
No.
This is Mark Gleeson, and now it's with Wainwright. Here is Breers. It's with Gross. Warrington are growing in confidence here, you know.
And again, Leeds are missing a few tackles.
It's now with Breers. Breers back on the inside to Paul Wood. And if you rang that number and asked Tony for his team, if he'd give it you.
Give it, come in, Ryan.
Warrington will play the ball to Mark Gleeson here.
Bit cruel, that, Eddie.
Gleeson to Breers, lovely dab through. They're in numbers, Warrington has scored. Farfili.
Just check the grounding and the onside.
He wants to check the grounding and the onside. Hat-trick for Farfili beckons here.
Well, I think he's got it down. And I think he's onside. Yeah, that's play on. Well, how many twists and turns are we going to have in this game? At 30 points of 14 after Tupy had the try disallowed. Leeds still in control.
Well, he's well onside, I think. The grounding's important now.
I think he gets it down. Or is he short? He gets it with the other hand. Now then.
Who would be a video referee?
The first touch from Farfili, I think, is short. And then he rolls over. Does he have control? That's what the video referee Ian Smith has to decide.
Well, do they need control, though? They just need downward pressure.
Well, the first downward pressure is short. And then it rolls over.
And he bobbles it out. Oh, no.
Is it the forearm? Is it sufficient? I think he might give this. It's a touchy one. When he makes first contact, he's short. He'll go frame by frame. There, short. But his forearm rolls over. I think he'll give it.
Well,
I think
this might tell us at 100%.
There is short, and then I think he's going to give it. Halfway up the forearm.
If the gods favour Warrington, it will be a try, but I think there's doubt about it. I really do. Farfili has a look.
I'm going to tee our way.
Is it a hat-trick for Farfili? Yes, it is. Warrington have had a great spell. Farfili's try gives them hope, and it's a hat-trick for Henry Farfili.
Well, it's very rare you find a hat-trick on a side that's so far behind, but they've got a sniff of it now. Breers kicked through, they were caught Leeds. They've been missing a few tackles. They've got back in numbers, they've scrambled well. Senior really should have gone for that ball rather than try to obstruct someone coming from behind, and he knows it. And
Breers has added the extras, and Henry Farfili has got his second hat-trick against Leeds here. He got one in the 44-16 victory in May of last year at Warrington.
I think if Paul Cullen wants to look at some clips certainly this week, I think in review, a great tip would be over the last couple of minutes, just the swapping of sets and some really nice plays and people getting on the end of the kicks as well, and just applying pressure. And we saw 5 minutes of arm wrestle stuff and just being patient and not trying to score off every set. And I think ultimately they've got themselves back into the game.
Did you see that kick-off from Leeds? What a horrible bounce it was. Oh, Saints are fighting back. 26-20. Oh, high-scoring matches tonight. Expect that as June comes in. Hopefully flaming June it will be. It's been a lovely day today. Here is Gleeson. Now it's Wood. And Warrington within 10 points with 20 minutes remaining. It's a gutsy effort from them. It's a gutsy effort from Salford too tonight. Last tackle. And Gross with the kick. Right down the middle of the field, and Brent Webb. I don't know whether the ball's got a piece of metal in it and Webb wanders around with magnets on his hands, but it always seems to go towards him. It did in the Tri-Nations, didn't it, John? It was frustratingly exactly that.
Yeah, positional play is excellent. You can name Minicello as well in that. I think both players are blessed with speed and read the game extremely well.
Well, it's composure now that's needed by Leeds, and I'm sure that Tony Smith has got the message out. We don't have to force the pass, we just need position.
Here's Peacock.
Just solid work, doesn't really need to offload, hang on.
Well, he doesn't offload anymore in Leeds colours, Jamie Peacock. I don't know whether that's something Tony Smith told him not to do. It used to be a great offloader of the ball, didn't he, as a second row forward. I know he's operating at prop for Leeds these days.
That was a pretty good offload he did to win the game at Odsel. Was it Rob Burrow or Danny Maguire offloaded too?
Yes, it was.
Eddie, there's no way in the world a coach will stop a man from offloading if the opportunity's there.
Well, you count up lately how often Jamie Peacock offloads the football. He'll probably do it next time he gets it now.
Okay, play on.
Great player, Jamie Peacock. This is John Clark. Straight up in the air. Underneath it, Lee Smith. Lee Smith, the Leeds wing, to run it back only as far as Westwood and Johnson. Jamie Peacock offloads in a match, average 2, tonight 1.
He's only 50% off.
There's 20 minutes to go, and that's an important 20 minutes for Warrington. No team in Super League has conceded more tries in the final quarter of a game than the Wolves this year. They really need to lift now, mentally and physically, to match what the Rhinos throw at them.
That was a great challenge by Westwood on Ian Kirk. Here comes Ryan Bailey. He's found Rob Burrow. They've got space here with Sinfield. Short ball to Gareth Ellis. Warrington standing up to the task so far in defence. Here's Peacock again. Takes the tackle. Brent Webb. Maguire. Dab behind the defence. Bailey's after it. Picked up though by Kevin Penny. Oh, Kevin Penny's lost it. Brent Webb. Oh dear. Brent Webb. Second try for him. And Kevin Penny lost it in the first tackle. It's a price a coach pays when you put youngsters in. But frankly, he was left with no other option here tonight, Paul Cullen. And of course Penny scored a sensational try in the first half, but he's just gifted one to Leeds with that.
Applying the pressure. Just the impact was good work from Maguire. Not only the kick, but the way that he brings the arm down. Watch how he goes into the tackle and pulls the ball carrying arm away. Even if it was a steal, it was going backwards. That is great work from Maguire. Both with a kick and the would-be attempted tackle, loosens it off. He won't get an easier one than that.
A harsh lesson for young Kevin Penny, and a harsh lesson for his coach. A harsh moment for his coach. Sinfield to add the extras, which he does. No charity in this game. 36-20. Warrington got themselves in position to launch a late assault, and it's just in the blink of an eye, just a little bit gone away from them. It all depends now how they muscle up in the last quarter of an hour or so of this match.
Well, he'll be disappointed, Paul Cullen, maybe even due to the fact that it was an awful error by the youngster Kevin Penny.
Would you go for a short kick-off, Steve-O? Does he go high-risk plays, throw what you've got for 10 minutes to see if you can win it? I mean, you could play conservatively, complete your sets and keep the scoreboard pretty low, but I don't think that's Warrington's style.
And you just said, haven't you, that they can concede a lot of tries in the last quarter of a match.
It's just something that youngsters have to endure through their career. They've got to start somewhere, and you've got to give them the opportunity. Full credit to bit of a grapple tackle there. As I say, give credit to Paul Cullen. That's mainly due to the fact they've got so many injuries, but he'll remember it. We all go through it. There are times where, no doubt about it, Farfeli tried to rip his head off.
Come on!
Sheer frustration.
There has been quite a bit of that creeping back into the game this year, the grapple tackles. They haven't gone punished by the referees as much as they have been in the past, but only 4 penalties in this game so far.
Well, it's been a fast open game, hasn't it, really? And both sides have been taken back a good 10 metres by Ben Thaler.
Rob Burrow, scampering run, finds Maguire, ball back on the inside to Brent Webb, spins away from a couple, fires the pass and gets it to Lee Smith. Kevin Penny this time says he's not going to get past me. And Clinton Tupy waits the dummy half, finds Brent Webb again. He'll give it over the head of Burrow to Sinfield. There's Peacock.
4! Get on!
Sinfield, good run. Maguire, good defence. Westwood, been all over the show tonight for Warrington.
He works hard, doesn't he? Quitted himself well in the forwards.
Tansey, Burrow with a high kick to the corner. Ball has gone backwards, but off who? Oh, still the last tackle. Big hoof wide from Sinfield. Penny's underneath it, goes to ground.
Well done.
Well done to him, because his heart must have been racing then, remembering what happened just a few minutes ago. High shot on Westwood.
Whoa, Ben, cool down. Ryan, get your tackles lower. I know.
Ryan Bailey penalised.
Cool it down.
No doubt about it. Went back for a second go. Bang. Anything over the top of the shoulders.
Cool down.
Put himself about, Ryan Bailey. Still plenty of time.
There is 14 minutes. Mark Gleeson, Lee Breers. Wide and a break from Braycheck. Oh, just behind Chris Riley.
Just not their night, really, is it? Braycheck did ever so well. If you squeeze yourself through the half break, he couldn't get the offload to Henry Farfeli, because Donald had made the nuisance of himself there.
There is a lot of spirit, though, still in this Warrington team. Would you agree, fellas?
Yeah.
They're certainly being brave, aren't they? And they're having a crack at Leeds, and they've not stopped. And I don't know if Leeds have probably conceded the most clean breaks or line breaks that they've had this year. So, you know, there's some skill in this Warrington team. They're still having a crack, but at times I feel that they're just putting themselves under a little bit of pressure and forcing the pass when maybe it'd be better just to take the tackle now. Leeds are in some great field position.
Burrow will play the ball to Jordan Tansey. Tansey and flick pass from Sinfield to Maguire. Maguire gets the ball away brilliantly to Ellis. There's a man on the overlap here. It's Scott Donald, but he comes back in field. Tansey again waits the dummy half. It's now with Sinfield. Sinfield to Peacock.
Come on!
Tansey again. Burrow. Burrow to Maguire. A dab ball to the in-goal area, and Brent Gross does well.
Did ever so well. Still got to keep going, keep going.
Oh, I think you're going to be penalised here, Warrington, because Brent Gross did not get up and take the tackle. The referee was shouting surrender, 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 but Brent Gross, I think he's been penalised for a voluntary tackle.
Get on, play the ball.
Well, he should have come in. He's been penalised because he played the ball.
Go.
When he should have played on.
Bailey. Well, that could hurt Warrington.
Off.
That really could hurt them.
And no doubt it will.
Tansey, Burrow, Maguire. Oh, it's the legs of Donald. He's done well to keep that into the field of play. Another penalty.
Mick, hold on. Let's get
Getting a bit frustrated, Warrington.
Come here.
Wainwright and Gleeson.
It's Mike Wainwright. The referee
Listen,
wants
let's
to
say.
talk to.
Hey, let's just listen to what we're going to say. Let's not just shut up, you. Just shut up, you. Be quiet. Shut up and listen. You get your tackles downstairs. And you, shut your gun. Lee, I'll be pedantic in a minute. So shut your gun.
Good refereeing there, just calm things down.
Go.
Steve-O's saying you're pedantic, said Lee Breers. Has he got an earpiece on?
Come on!
It's Sinfield.
Right, get up, Woody!
I don't tell that word exclusively, you know.
Well, it's down to you. Jordan Tansey, Rob Burrow, and Gareth Ellis. Back to Burrow. And Burrow delays, comes back inside, gets up again. Jack in the box. Senior, Keith Senior. Oh, goes wildly out to the wing. Donald tackled by Riley.
Good work by the youngster as well. At 36-20, Leeds can afford to do all this fancy play. They're in a pretty good position. They know the defence has been pretty solid at times through this second half, so even if they do lose possession, they know they can keep the Wolves right down in their own quarter.
This is Maguire. Wainwright did well. Stepping through is Ian Kirk. And under the sticks, Ian Kirk gets the Leeds try with 10 minutes to go. That will probably break the Warrington Wolves' resistance finally. Ian Kirk with the try. His first try of 2007. He has started the last three in Super League before tonight. And he was selected to start ahead of Lauatiti in the playoffs here last year. And this is a good try from him.
And this is good reward for the players in regard to their coach, Tony Smith. He always instills into them to keep the ball alive, look for the opportunity, twist in the tackle, and the support play is good. Nice finish from Kirk, he'll have enjoyed that. But the build-up will have been the one thing that their coach would have been pleased with. And John Sharp, when you know you've got the game in the bag, you can afford to do things like that.
Yeah, they've got plenty of people pushing and they carry the ball particularly well. They've got great grip and great carry, and they have people and bodies in motion pushing constantly. When the team's not completing on them and when Leeds are having plenty of good ball, I think they have plenty of energy, and I think that's when you start to lose the energy battle, and that's when you start to have to defend offload after offload. As you can see here, people pushing. Naturally, acceleration for a big guy and the skills, excellent.
Yes, good drive from Ian Kirk, and the seventh successful kick from Kevin Sinfield, 42-20. I think it's a bridge too far now for the Wolves.
There's damage limitation as far as they're concerned. They won't be doing a short one, they'll get it right down the field.
It might be too big, it might be too big.
And it is.
Out on the fall, penalty on halfway to Leeds.
More pain, I'm sure, will be inflicted. Burrows will take a quick tap on the halfway, which he has. They didn't get themselves set up there, Warrington. They were very slow. They expected maybe a kick.
All square at Knowsley Road. Still a possible point on offer there for Salford then. 6 to go there, 8 to go here. Well, if they win that match, Salford, if they could sneak the victory, it would pull everybody back into the relegation mix. And I mean everybody, John Sharp.
Yeah, obviously there's...
Maybe not Leeds and Saints, eh?
Yeah, well, there's a couple of points in there between us at the moment, but obviously over the next couple of weeks it's going to be really important for all sides.
Absolutely. Top against bottom at Knowsley Road, and it's all square. Here, Warrington trailing, and Leeds looking to finish with a flourish. It sticks in Maguire's hand, and Maguire gets it away. That's Luluai. Oh, he's lost it. Was it stolen? A loose carry, says the referee.
Oh, I thought there was a hand in there either way. They're very, very fortunate. Well, Wainwright definitely went for that football. Kaliluluai just looked at the official.
Leeds injury news now, Bill.
Well, it might take the shine off this Leeds victory. Gareth Ellis, who picked up a bang in the ribs in the first half, played on it with it in the second half. He's just had to come off again, and he looked in a lot of pain as well, holding the ribs, was taken straight to the dressing rooms by the club doctor. So he might have to just have an x-ray perhaps, because he looked in a lot of discomfort.
Little dab over the top by Lee Breers. Lee Smith is underneath it. Oh, and it's suddenly opened up for Lee Smith. He's quicker than Rauhi. Is he quicker than Penny? No. Brilliant defence from the young Penny.
Tremendous stuff. Touch judge. He was racing down that sideline.
Could be injured here. They must have clashed into the boards. Penny pushed him all the way. Looks as though they're both okay.
Well, there's plenty of speed, this fella. And Smith backed himself. Oh, now then. I think that should have been play on.
Here we go, guys.
I think he's offloaded it before. Yep.
Well, the touch judge hasn't got the benefit of the slow-mo.
No, it's difficult.
He did, but well.
Either way.
If they'd have scored, of course, they would have actually gone back and had a look at that. They might have been chalked off anyway.
Yeah.
5 and a bit minutes. And here goes Chris Riley.
Bit of a high, lazy grab there from Jamie Peacock.
This is Rauhi again. Here comes Sullivan. There's the pass to Clark. Over the top and forward. That was forward twice, surely, but Penny's all right. Drop goal from Matty Smith at Knowsley Road. Man filling in for Sean Long, of course. 27-26. Oh, brave night for Salford. Still not over. Sullivan dabs the ball towards the corner, but it's too big. You can all breathe a sigh of relief, John. He's mopping his brow, let me tell you.
Not over there yet, surely. I know it's in the last minute.
Last minute there. 1 point in it. We'll confirm the scoreline from Knowsley Road just as soon as the siren sounds. Here we've got 4 to go. Sky Sports News, by the way, will have the tries and all the relevant action from Knowsley Road in the morning. Kaliluluai does well. Here is Jordan Tansey on halfway. It's with Thackeray.
Been a good display from Leeds in the second half.
On the bounce to Ian Kirk. Fancies a second. Yes, it's a strong Leeds side. There's no question of that.
Hold it.
Jordan Tansey.
Well, they've only conceded that Farfili try in this second stanza, and that brought up his hat-trick, of course.
Last tackle here for Leeds. Maguire to Tansey again. Up it goes. Hanging and seniors after this. Oh, it's a tester for the youngster. And it's bounced. And is Ablett going to get his try here?
Ian, I'm checking to see if it's onside. And also, see when he jumps up in the air,
he had one video referee decision go against him not long ago. He's now got to think about another onside, offside first of all.
Yeah, it's
well
fine.
Onside.
Yeah, everybody kept behind. Or does it come off? And if it does come off,
off the chest.
I think it might have come off
the chest of Donald, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. But does he touch it? Riley doesn't touch that. I think this will be chalked off. Riley goes for it, misses it completely, and Scott Donald doesn't.
He's offside then, is he? He's in front of him. It's a penalty to Warrington.
Should be.
And the chest of Donald to a player stood in front of him.
Ablett once again will have it wiped off.
Well, Ablett has had 2 tries looked at by the video referee, 1 chalked off. What does he say about this? Because he's not looked at the grounding, so you assume it's chalked off. And it is. Penalty kick to the defence, and Phil Clark's the man who picked that up in commentary.
He's offside. Here.
Offside.
Well, he's wondering what he has to do. Chris Riley made a pretty good attempt, but missed it completely, thankfully, as far as he's concerned.
Warrington keeping it going right to the end with Johnson on the break. Paul Johnson hounded down by Kirk. He says, if I can't get one, you're not getting one. It's Gross over the top of Morley and on the bounce to Lee Breers. And Breers wide to Westwood and further wide. Oh. Riley just loses his footing and loses the ball. And there's a bit of feeling between Thackeray and Henry Farfeely.
It's been a big experience for both Chris Riley and his right-wing partner, Kevin Penny.
But it will stand them in good stead.
Without a doubt.
And they've not looked out of place at times. I know there's been a couple of errors that you might expect from young players, but they've not looked out of place.
We knew with the quality of a coach of Tony Smith that they wouldn't have any time to think about it. They'd be put under pressure. They've done that. And that's the reason why Leeds are a very good side. You've got to play towards what the coach thinks is a bit of a problem.
Full time and St Helens have won. Matty Smith with the drop goal. They came back there from, was it 26-14? Anyway, Saints and Leeds march on at the top. Salford stuck at the bottom. Ball has come out. Referee says play on. Here's Thackeray.
That's three. Move! Hold it.
Tansey. Peacock.
Clear! Move! Hold it, hold.
And you're telling me he's not playing to instructions.
You've picked up this game quite well, haven't you, over the years?
Ablett will play the ball to Burrow. And there is a kick from Jordan Tansey, which Brent Gross isn't interested in. And the ball will run dead. We're inside the last minute. A 20-metre restart.
I think in another couple of years you might want to start coaching.
No.
Okay.
Won't be silly.
All right.
Half a minute to go. Rauhihi. Johnson. Johnson tackled by Maguire. Sullivan gets the ball away. John Clark. And down the line goes Penny again. Oh, brilliantly done. And Penny will score for Warrington. Closer to the posts. 2 tries for Kevin Penny. They have not given this up right to the final siren. There's no celebration, there's no smile from Kevin Penny, but he has made a telling contribution to this match.
And what a great effort. Okay, he's come up with a few errors, but he should have got the speed. And he's done it twice, in and out. He'll remember this. And why shouldn't he? Good work by John Clark. I have got the speed. Skipped away. Does it again. Long time since I've seen a shuffle like that. Probably before this guy was born. Lewis Jones was doing something similar to that. Well, he's got a smile on his face, and he's every right to have.
7 tries to 5 in Leeds' favour, but Warrington Wolves going down fighting. And it will be they who will score the last try of the match. There is hope for them, there is no question of that. And Breer's here to try and add 2 more points to the total, which he does. 42 points to 26, all over at Headingley. Leeds have won, all over at Knowsley Road. St Helens have won, but by the narrowest of margins, the Matty Smith drop goal. Leeds and St Helens then stay bracketed at the top of the table. And Warrington stay at the wrong end, but 7 tries to 5 it is. And Warrington take a great deal of credit out of this, but they have still gone down 42 points to 26.
In the old days, if you fancied watching something half decent, you had to sit down when the newspaper told you. Then Sky Plus bowled into your life and that all changed. Now you watched quality stuff whenever you felt like it. Fast forward to 2007 and you clocked this thing called Anytime on your TV guide. Get in, you chirp. See, Anytime brings you a tasty bunch of shows via Sky Plus and HD that you might just want to discover. Sky Anytime. Your Sky on demand.
And all the people of the lulled and dumbfound town are sleeping now. Hush! The babies are sleeping, the farmers, the fishers, the tradesmen and pensioners, cobbler, schoolteacher, postman and publican, the webfoot cock of women.
Pay-as-you-go customers can surf every website on their phone for no more than £1 a day. Come in store and set the internet free.
Sorry to disturb you, but I thought you'd want to hear this. Go on. We'll beat your home insurance renewal quote, or refund you the difference up to £100 when you switch.
Nice.
Yeah, and, that's not all. Once you've switched, we'll also give you another 50 quid.
Like it!
Call us for a quote. Home insurance from Barclays. Now there's a thought.
Isn't it tiny?
I think there's a full PC in there. And after today, this is what your computer chair will look like.
A sofa?
Welcome to the future. Watch, pause or record digital TV, internet, email, all your music, all your photos, Intel Pentium dual-core processor and a 17-inch monitor for $599.
And what about the TV?
With the PC, just $849.
Really?
Wow.
$849 for the whole package?
Yep, in stock today.
Including the sofa?
Internet prices to take home today. PC World. The best of both worlds.
Pay-as-you-go customers can surf every website on their phone for no more than £1 a day. Come in store and set the internet free.
Because sometimes it's hard to start some tools. Black & Decker introduced their best balanced string trimmer with automatic line feed. Just plug it in and go. It's our most powerful electric string trimmer ever.
2 pints of lager and a strongbow, please. Crisps and all? Oh yeah, nice. Yep.
Strongbow. Total first pint refreshment.
Compact. Concise. Comprehensive. The new Independent on Sunday. Everything you want and nothing you don't. One big newspaper. One big magazine. And this week, only £1.
Designed to be big when you need it and small when you don't. The Dyson Stowaway with the Dyson 5-year guarantee.
Pay-as-you-go customers can surf every website on their phone for no more than £1 a day. Come in store and set the internet free.
On a Friday night when St Helens have beaten Salford by a point, Leeds have beaten Warrington Wolves 42 points to 26, 7 tries to 5, only the goal kicking really of Kevin Sinfield playing a part, and he kicked well. Let's have a word with the Leeds captain.
Well, you were really put up against it, weren't you there? Warrington, far from being a side down on the luck, made you work for that.
Definitely, yeah. I think they're desperate at the minute, and we knew it'd be a real tough one, and it certainly was. I think the scoreline probably doesn't suggest how difficult it was, and there was a tough battle in the middle, and lots of big shots going on.
You maybe haven't been firing on all cylinders in recent weeks. Was this a bit more like it?
Yeah, a little bit. I felt we were still a bit jaded. I think, you know, a few silly mistakes at telling times, really. But we've got a week off now. We regroup. We can work hard. Obviously, we're not happy about being out of the cup, but the good thing is we get a chance to do quite a lot of work this week and really prepare well for Huddersfield. So that's all we can do now, and we've got the 2 points. We need to keep knocking them off.
Thanks, Kev.
Cheers, Bill.
Yeah, Kevin Sinfield, spot on. Not in the cup next week, so they've got a week off, and then they will prepare to play the Huddersfield Giants next up in Super League. First time in 10 years that Leeds are not involved in a Challenge Cup quarter-final. What about Warrington? They are, of course. They have to go to St Helens next weekend for the Challenge Cup. Doesn't get any easier then for their coach, Paul Cullen.
Paul, there was a bit of guts and commitment there. A bit more than has been shown lately.
I just thought it was a very positive display, Bill. Obviously done for experience, once across the 17, but very encouraging, very positive display. You know, of attacking rugby, we've not come here to damage limitation. We've come to win the game, and I thought that was very, very evident with our style of football.
So you're not dead and buried. Long way from it.
Bill, it's never even entered my mindset. You know, we've played some good football today. We've put a little bit too much ball on the floor. Took one or two many gambles, and Leeds are a very, very good side, and they've got a lot of talent in that team. But to come here with that attitude, that very positive mental attitude, great enthusiasm, and never give them the game away, you know, and a couple of teenagers on the wings who've had a real go.
Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Yes, he's taking the positives out of it. Why shouldn't he? And there's the final score and confirmation of it from Knowsley Road. 27-26, the champions have scraped in against Salford at the bottom. It was a Matty Smith drop goal in the last minute of the match. It doesn't mean anything at all at the top of the table. It's as you were, Saints and Leeds, and it's as you were at the bottom. But Warrington now have dropped down on points difference to next to bottom in the table. And Hull Kingston Rovers and Wakefield will play on Sunday. They're on 12 points. Huddersfield on 5th are on 14 points. 2 points away from a place in the top 6. It's what we've wanted. It's what we have hoped for all these years. And, of course, everybody, when you're down at the wrong end of the table, starts getting nervous. Carl Harrison sacked, and the pressure, obviously, will continue on Paul Cullen. But he has taken a lot of positives out of this match, John Sharp, and why shouldn't he? Because they gave it a go.
Yeah, that's right. They had backs to the wall going into the game, a whole host of injuries, but to score 5 tries at Headingley is no mean feat. I think there's lots of positives. I think offensively, I thought they challenged Leeds, who were a great defensive side in their own right. I think defensively for Warrington, I think there's a couple of things that they need to work on, I think, in D, and you know, it's encouraging for him. I'm pretty sure they'll be pleased with what he's seen tonight.
Yes, sure he will, and I think he'll be encouraged, Phil, by the performance of his 2 youngsters on the wing. I mean, they both showed up, didn't they?
I think the first thing you expect when you have youngsters come into your side is that they'll bring some enthusiasm with them, a chance here on the big stage to do something, and they certainly did that. That was a positive. Perhaps they need some help defensively, because out wide tonight, Warrington perhaps a little bit vulnerable, players coming in, not sure what to do. But really, the 40-20 kick from Jordan Tanz is becoming a hallmark really of his game. If it worked for you last week, do it again this, and that's been Leeds' policy. They got possession then close to the line and just keeping the ball alive. 2 players previously they'd stretched over on the far side of the field. They brought it back this way and there weren't enough defenders. Tupi scored a try. But probably the thing that will give Warrington some hope going into the Carnegie Cup match next weekend was this try here by Penny. It is an instinctive winger's try. He just decelerates momentarily before pressing on and going over the line. And that player, firstly, you look for a winger who can have the speed to score tries, then those who know how to beat a man when it's a simple race to the line. And he had both of those attributes. They've really, I think, got a lot to take into the cup match, and there's a potential for an upset.
There is a potential for an upset. Is there a potential for Warrington to still be in Super League this time next year? I think so.
Of course, we've seen enough tonight, haven't we? And I'm sure Paul's going to be repeating that message tomorrow when he goes through a review with his players. I thought they handled the situation of injuries particularly well. A little bit more patience, I think, and anxiety, I thought, when they got the ball, instead of just kicking out some sets and building some pressure.
OK, so Leeds have won, St Helens have won, as you were at the top of the table. The rest all play tomorrow and Sunday. Don't forget you'll be able to see the Sunday game, Wakefield against Hull Kingston Rovers, with us on Sky Sports. I'll confirm that for you in a moment, after I tell you what is still to come here on Sky Sports this evening. Boxing is next with the Friday Fight Night. Arthur Abraham against Sebastian Demer for the IBF middleweight title. That's on Sky Sports 2. And later on tonight you can see football highlights of England against Brazil at 10:30 on Sky Sports 1. Our next appointment is Sunday. It's a Sunday match this week. Wakefield against Hull Kingston Rovers. You've seen the table, you know how vital that one is. 6 o'clock, Sky Sports 2, and available in high definition on HD2 as well. Well, none of these coaches dare relax. John Sharp is in 5th, but he's 2 points ahead of Warrington, who are in 11th. So enjoy your sleep tonight and enjoy your match on Sunday. We'll see you on Sunday as well, I hope. Bye-bye.